All right, let's begin. Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the sixth episode of implementing clean architecture in Next.js. This was going to be fun. In this one, I have planned to mock some of the repositories that we have, for example, like the collection and the links repositories, and to start writing unit tests. That's going to be fun. Uh, I see how many of you are alive? Like 5 people are watching. Say hi in the chat. Let's see some messages. There we go. Deuce, hi, how's it going? Yeah, so we were talking about what library should we use for testing, and initially I was like, let's use Vitest because it's new from the State of JS survey. It was ranked as like the first most loved and the most with the biggest retention. But I'm actually thinking about should we go and just use Jest because it's been around. It's like established as a technology, right? Not that Vitest isn't, but maybe like uh the ecosystem is bigger for Jest. I'm not sure. We need to see. Part of the reason is that the ecosystem. If you've watched the previous streams, you might remember that we talked about using a testing plugin for Jest that allowed us to test if our application adheres to the architecture that we define. You can write unit tests to say, for example, in the app directory, we should not have any imports from the infrastructure directory, and that would force you to implement to stay on track and adhere to the architecture that you have defined. So I like that, and I think that was a Jest plugin. Let me bring it up on the screen. It was TS. There we go. TS Arch. There we go. This is the plugin that I'm talking about. This is a Jest plugin, a library for checking architecture conventions in TypeScript and JavaScript. I think it's a Jest, I don't know. Yeah, imports and applies the Jest extensions. So it is a Jest extension. I'm not sure if we should use this or if we really want to use this, but it kind of like, makes me think maybe the ecosystem is better for Jest because it's an older technology. So that's what I'm thinking. If you have any thoughts, please let me know in the chat. Jests versus Vitests. Vitest is newer. I think Vitest is also faster. If we don't plan to use this, I guess we can go with Vitest. I don't know. I know. Let's do some research. I know that Vitest, yeah, it is Jest compatible. Expect snapshot coverage and more. Migrating from Jest is straightforward. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, maybe we should go with Vitest, maybe we should go with Vitest. Because Next.js, for example, they have support for both Vitest and Jest. There we go. We can pick either of them. So if we click on Vitest, we can see that we can install, let's say, Vitest, Vite.js plugin React, JS DOM, and testing library React. And this is if we want to create and run component testing. We're not going to need this one necessarily because we're not going to be writing tests for the UI. We just want to cover the backend, basically the clean architecture part that we just defined. So yeah, that's basically. I think JS DOM exactly. We don't need this as well. We don't need any type of DOM. Yeah. Again, you see, they're all like UI tests. Like if I render this component, what would render on the screen? Yeah. All right, Trent says, I definitely liked Vitest. The only shortcoming is the lack of well-maintained Launch Darkly plugin, but that won't matter here. True, yeah, I don't know, yeah, but that's bad. I hope they fix it soon. But yeah, well, let's just go with Vitest then. Let's go with Vitest. I was surprised to see how many people liked Vitest. Let me see. State of JS 2023. When I saw the results, let's go to libraries, I guess, and testing. And Jest is, of course, at the top for usage, because it's an older library. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. It's an older library. Everybody uses Jest, and for awareness. But for interests, Vitest is number one. For retention, Vitest is number one. And for positivity, okay, I guess we have Jest as number one. And then Vitest is 64. So you can see that Jest basically has the market, but when it comes to like positivity and interests, definitely, and retention, definitely Vitest takes the cake on that one. Yeah. Trent says, I think it's one of those libraries that pushed really hard for DX and gained a lot of traction because of it. That makes sense. That makes sense. I think it's like just like 2-3 years old. At least that's what I'm aware of. I think, I don't know. It's like very new. Yeah, 2021. Exactly, like 2 or 3 years old. But it's yeah, it's cool. Let's actually use Vitest. I think it's going to be a good experiment to see. If not, Jest is always here. Okay, but first we need to have some repositories mocked. So let's get into that. Mocking repositories or mocking services or mocking in general means that you're faking some sort of behavior in your code so that you can run tests on it. And we need to fake certain behavior because not everything is available to us in a testing environment. For example, we cannot, not that we can't, but it's complicated, and it's also it might also be an overkill to spin up a database for your testing purposes. It's not that it's a bad idea. Of course, it's a good idea if you can, or if you can afford it, or if you can allow it. I don't know. It's definitely a good idea, but sometimes it might be an overkill to run, to spin up a database just to run a few unit tests. So that's why mocking exists. I think now with Docker and everything, it's very doable to build up a test environment with a database, with seeded data, with everything. So you don't really need to mock anything. You just need to change the database connection. But yeah, in a nutshell, mocking is done in order to fake a database or fake a third-party service that you don't want to be hitting all the time. Let's say you're using OpenAI's API, right? You have a ChatGPT integration. You don't want to hit the API every time you run a test because that's going to cost you, right? That is one more reason to mock a specific service, not a database in this case, but like a third-party API that is, could potentially incur some costs. And because we have Inversify installed, it's going to be very easy for us to build up a new implementation of service or a repository or whatever in our application, as long as it's defined by like an interface or something. It's going to be very easy to do that. And yeah, that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's begin. Actually going to put a marker here. So inside of our application, let's do a quick recap actually of the architecture and everything that we have. Here's the diagram. All right, so the interfaces live here, the implementations live here, and for example, we have a collections repository. The interface is here. We're gonna put the implementation here in the infrastructure layer. Okay, this is where everything lives. So inside of the application and repositories, we can see that we have a collections repository interface that defines the capabilities of any collections repository, implementation of a collections repository. So let's just go into the infrastructure layer repositories, and we have these. So first, I think we need to, let me just make this bigger. I think we need to have an okay naming convention here, because as you can see, these are collections repository, right? But we're going to have another one. So how do we name that? Maybe keep the production one without any postfixes, but maybe we can do like collections repository.mock.ts. Maybe this is going to be a good naming convention. I also think instead of dash repository, we should do dot repository, but that's just nitpicking at this point. It's not really going to bring any, it's not going to really bring any value. So let's go with this. Mark Chandler, look at that beard. How's it going? Thank you for joining, man. I haven't talked to you in a long time. We're doing some cool stuff here. We're doing clean architecture in Next.js. Now we're going to be writing some tests, and we're going to be mocking some repositories. All right, so yeah, export class. This is going to be mock collections repository. Shall we do this? Yeah. If you have any feelings, whether we should do prefix or postfix, let me know. I think prefix is better because as I'm going to be typing, let me just show you what I mean. For example, if we're going to be typing mock something, we're going to get a list of all of the mocked services and repositories so that we can pick them out just like that. But if we do collections repository, we're going to have one here and the other one mock, and if the name is long, it might get truncated. So I think, yeah, that's what I think. Prefixing this may be a good idea, but yeah, let me know if you have any strong feelings about this. It's going good. You're looking good, my man. Thank you. Thanks. Oh, let's see. Trent says, is it a underscore mocks? And this is dunder, right? Double underscore, double under. Mocks directory convention, I think still. Been a while since I've made these decisions. I'm not sure, to be honest. Yeah, maybe it is. Hey, Federico. Dunder mocks. That looks like Python to me. Anything that starts with double underscores looks like Python. I'm not sure if that's the convention though, to be honest. Maybe we need a, let's see. If we have a lot of repositories, they're going to be, the folder will be big. But the good thing is that since we are postfixing this with .mock, then, for example, if we only have production and mock, then all the pairs are going to be here, you know. So when we create the, let me just rename this collection link repository. Okay. Yeah, copy this to .mock. See, we have the pairs. We have the mock, and then we have the actual implementation, the production implementation. Yeah. So let's, you know, let's keep them like this, inside of the same um inside of the same folder. I'm gonna delete this one because yeah. All right, so let's but implements here I collections repository. There it is. So now we need to implement this interface, and these are all of the methods that we want to implement. There we go. We'll start from the start. First, we need a constructor, and because we're not going to be using any database in this case, we're going to keep things in memory. And the constructor is, I think, the best, you know, place to do that, since we're instantiating this repository. You know, get the seed data if we want to have any seed data. Get the seed data in, and just keep an array, you know, of entries, of entities in this class, and that's going to be our database, you know. Yeah. So let's do that. This is the collections repository. I'm gonna open the real one. We have a constructor, but it doesn't do anything. In our case, it is going to do anything. It is going to do things. So here we are. Create collection, right? We instantiate the DB. No need here. We try to get the title and description from the collection itself. And as I see now, we actually need to fix the types. Look at this. This is a collection insert. And this is like the type is just pasted here. So I'm going to do collection insert from the models entities, bring it in. There we go. But first, we want to have a database, an in-memory database, which is going to be just a bunch of either one or multiple private variables, properties inside of the class. So let's see, can we do something like this? DB. How do we want to do this? How do we want to approach this? That also has like a good DX. I'm going to start simple, and DB is going. Let's just do collections underscore collections. It is going to be. Let's see now. What is the type? Because the data will be of certain type, and then we want to use the schema to parse that data and return it. I guess we can just bring in collection, you know, the actual entity collection. There it is, this one. Like this, and then we'll say this collections equals an empty array, or we can, you know, immediately add the database seed here. Yeah. There we go. So we have the collections here, and then inside what we, for example, what we want to do, damn it, okay, let me delete around this promise. This is going to be a collection type that we bring back. So we have the collection insert. We need to generate the fingerprint, auto set the created by, because we already have it, created at, title and description, generate the fingerprint, save that to the collections. That's it. Yeah. Deuce, thank you very much for this content. I learned a lot. I'm glad, Deuce. I'm glad you like it. Yeah. Right, so there we go. I'm not sure we want to spend time seeding the database right now. I would just say this is going to be like a nice to have, you know. Just type it in. just gonna be like a nice to have. If we need to, we can see the database here in the constructor. So far, we only instantiate an empty collections array, and that's it. So let's try one. Let's try create collection. We have the implementation on the right. This is the reverse TDD because we already have the implementation. We just need to copy it. But yeah, let's see. We need a fingerprint, right? First, we wanna grab the title and description from the collection itself. Then we want to generate the fingerprint, and we're going to use the same library, nano ID. And here's one moment where we need to, pause and think. This is our mock collection repository, and this is our real one. In the mock collection repository, we use nano ID to generate a fingerprint of like 8 characters. We also use nano ID here. What if this changes to like 10? What if the app grows and we need bigger fingerprints because we start getting collisions? If we change this, how do we know that we also need to change this to 10? Because the tests are going to be, the tests are going to be using the old implementation of like 8 characters, or maybe we want to change nano ID in the future. Something to think about. I'm not sure of the solution just yet, but this is like I see it as a problem with consistency between, or how can we make sure that if we're like isolating away just the database, then everything else should stay the same. And I think what makes me think, like what I'm thinking right now is in these moments that we need to do another layer of separation, but that's, complicates things. What I meant is we have a repository, but maybe the repository doesn't all, use the database directly, but then that's the point of the repository, as far as I'm concerned. We should just like keep it like this. If nano ID goes to 9, or if we change the library, any changes that we make, we do need to also pay attention to make fingerprint and export it constant. Yeah, but it's not a constant. It needs to be generated for every collection that we create. Yeah, it's basically like a primary key for the collection model. Instead of an ID, I have a fingerprint, and those fingerprints are basically part of the URL. Let me show you. This is the app that I'm building. And here are the collections, right? And they also have a fingerprint. So for example, when we go here, we go inside and we say view collection, you get this fingerprint to identify that link collection. Yeah. Yeah. Sami says get it from the service layer. And I think that's what we need to do. The repository should not, do this, I think. It did feel like it's, at the time, that it's maybe a repository thing. But if we are bringing in the user ID through the arguments, then maybe we should also bring in the fingerprint, right? The service or the use case should be the one responsible for generating the, generating the fingerprint, or maybe even generating the date, or we can like keep the date here. I don't think it's going to cause any issues. It's just a new date to UTC string, that's all. But yeah, if the service is responsible for getting the user and passing down the user ID, maybe the service should also be responsible for generating the fingerprints. That would make sense. In that case, that's how we're going to ensure consistency between the we won't have a consistency issue when when we're talking about the mock repository or the real one. So yeah, fingerprints should come from the outer layer, from the service layer or use case layer, or something like that. Let's fix that. I'm gonna go here. Aside from the user ID, we're also gonna get the fingerprint, and it's going to be a string. There we go. I'm gonna come back now. Add the fingerprint here as a string, and I'm just gonna rip that out, and everything's gonna be fine. Now, wherever we're using the create collection, and I need to go into the repository to find that out, go to references. There we go. We use it here in the collections use case and nowhere else. Does that make sense? Now we're going to paste this fingerprint equals nano ID. Let's bring that in here. And initially we had 8 characters. There we go. Okay, so we are going to be testing literally this function, but the repository is going to be different. This ensures consistency. That's all. There we go. Thank you, Sami. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Okay, we're here, right? Tell me if this is it's gonna be noisy with like errors and warnings and stuff, but yeah, we'll get there. Fingerprints. Take it as a string, and we don't need it here, right? So we have the title and description, we have the fingerprint, we have the user ID, and the only thing that we need is the created at. So what I want to do now is, for example, this dot underscore collections dot push, right? We're going to push a new object that's going to have the fingerprints, have the title and the description. The created by is going to be the user ID. The created at is going to be a new date to UTC string. Of course, if we decide to change this, I don't think we ever will, but for example, hold on a second. There's a type issue now, right? Description could be null or undefined based on the collection inserts, but the collection does require it. Well, it is nullish. So what's the issue here? Property, oh, there's published. Okay, yeah, published. Well, by default, published is true. So we should just add that here. And we don't add it here because our database does that for us. Hey Mark, thanks for stopping by. Yeah, let's hang out. Hit me up on Discord. Yeah, let's do that. Published, we'll set it to true because that's basically what's happening. Yeah, let me just confirm that. Localhost 54323. And go to table editor, collection, edit this table. Yeah, there we go. We have, let me hide my face. We have the published property or the published column. The default one is true. So if we create a collection without passing this value, it's just going to be true. So we're gonna do that. Yeah, published is true. So we are adding it here. There's gonna be like errors and stuff. We can I'm not sure how we can mock this. First, I'm just going to create it without any errors. We're gonna have other types of we're gonna handle different types of errors. For example, if we try to create a collection with a fingerprint that already exists, maybe that's going to be. Yeah. Now we have a interesting. We ripped out, like for example, we isolated and we extracted the nano ID outside of the repository and put it into the use case. But that means that, you know, any validation should happen maybe in that place. We need to see. We need to think about this. But yeah, at the end of the day, what we want to do. Actually, let's do this instead of this dot push. We want to do new collection. It's going to be of type collection. It's going to be this, and we'll say this collections dot push new collection, and we just want to return the new collection. And now, because this needs to be a promise, I am going to wrap the whole thing, return new promise, resolve reject. Instead of return, we'll use resolve. Something like this, I guess. Okay, yeah. That makes sense. Okay, so we have create collection, this method. I'm gonna remove this. We have get collection. We're not gonna continue mocking this. Actually, let's actually do the get collection as well, so that we can write two tests at the same time. I'm going to delete inside of the square brackets and replace that with a collection. So in here, what we want to do is actually, hold on, return new promise resolve without, oh, let me see, that would be much better. Promise dot resolve. Am I, we have one extra. Must return a value. Well, of course. There it is. Thanks, Trent. Yeah, promise dot resolve. All right. Same thing, but we need the collection here. We'll do this collection s.find. We're gonna use this, and we're gonna rip out. Actually, we'll get the collection, and we'll say if the collection.fingerprint matches the fingerprint from the actual argument. And let's just see how this is being implemented. Yeah, exactly. Oh wait, db from collection select where the fingerprint equals the fingerprint and give me a single one. If there's an error, we do this map Postgres error to domain error. I'm not sure how we can mock this, but we'll see. We'll see. And then we just return the type itself, the collection itself. And that can also be defined. I think in this case, check this out. So in this case, if the collection is not found, for example, if we say give me the collection with a fingerprint and we'll say Lazar, it's never gonna happen because nano ID. What are the chances that nano ID, you know, generates a name? Well, of course, Lazar is also 5 characters, and all of our fingerprints are 8+ characters. They can only grow. So in this case, we need to throw an error. That's how we have this set up. Supabase will throw an error if it doesn't find the if it doesn't find the collection that matches these fingerprints. And if we go to map Postgres error to domain error, this is what we see, right? There is an error of type Postgres error, and if that error code is not found, which is PGRST116, it's going to throw a not found error. So I think in this case, should we use this? Method? I guess we should, but we need to recreate the Postgres error because that's what's being thrown, right? If the behavior of the repository means that we need to, use this mapper function, then we have to use this mapper function. So here's what we're going to do. If there's no collection, yeah, we need to we can throw the not found error directly, but I was thinking, should we like throw and, create a new type of error here, because this is done for us by Supabase. But now we're mocking this. Should we get into, we can't really mock every type of error that Supabase can throw. We just need to, I guess we need to mock the predictable, right? If there is no collection, then we just need to throw. And if we want to throw a specific error, then might as well just recreate the Postgres error and manually set the code to, to the not found one. So that's what I'm thinking. If there is no collection, we want to throw map Postgres error, and it's not going to be, it's going to be a new Postgres error. Okay, let's see how that's being done. Oh, it's just a type. It's just a type. Message details hint and code. Okay, it's actually even better. So we don't, it's not a class. We can just do this basically. Code Postgres error codes dot not found. Alexander, thanks for the sub. Appreciate it. Right, we have the code here. We need more, right? We need, let's see, we need the message. What is going on now? Cannot find name post. Oh, we didn't import it. Please import it. There we go. And now it's missing some properties, some fields. The hint, the message, and the details. We don't necessarily need these, but yeah, let's just go with it. The message is collection does cannot find, let's do that. Could not find the collection. If we're gonna type UI tests, then we also need to make sure that this message, this message matches the one from Supabase, right? Because it's going to be, you're testing what's going to render if we try to do this. But yeah, man, this is too tedious. Yeah, Sami, let's do that actually. I'm not gonna use the function because the function is a simple mapper, because I think doing this here is going to be too much for every type of error. I would just rather throw new not found error. We can write tests for this function specifically, and we can do these things in there, and we can, write the test so that it expects to throw an error. But in this case, in the repository case, I think we should keep it as simple as possible. So yeah, let's just bring in not found error. Cannot find a collection with that fingerprint. There we go. Otherwise, we want to return collection. That's the return promise dot resolve, and then we pass in the collection. And now TypeScript is happy. So we have two mocked methods. We can actually register this. Yeah, we're not gonna need this. We can actually register this repository in our DI container and write a couple of tests that would create a collection so that it populates these dot collections. One for that test, and then we'll also do a get collection. So we need to call the create collection again to populate this, because I think between tests, these dot collections should be wiped. All the tests, yeah. When let me see this. when writing unit tests, you should, when writing unit tests, you should consider that all of the tests are going to be independent of each other. So if we run a unit test that tests the create collection method, for example, and then we write another one that tests the get collection method, this one should not depend that the collections that push will happen from the previous tests. When we write the test for get collection, that should also populate the collections array by itself. Yeah. So these dot collections should we should just make sure that gets wiped between all the tests, and I think that would be the case. I think that would be the case, but we'll see. We just need to keep this in mind. All right, go to di modules collection module. Here's where we define these, and now we're going to be using the process.env.node environment variable to see if we are in production. If we're in testing, register this. Otherwise, register this repository. So if process.env.node_env, and that's the default one, exactly what we want to do. If it equals tests, we want to do this. Otherwise, we want to do this, right? So I'm just going to copy this block, same one, and instead of registering the collections repository, I'm going to bring in the mock collections repository. So if we are executing tests, we want to register this one. That's it. Hey, Evelino, how's it going? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, that's what we want to do. So this is all we need to do, literally, to just swap out the real repository with the mocked one. So next thing we want to do is just write tests, First, we want to install and set up Vitests. So let's get back to Vitests and see how we can do that. npm install the Vitest. That's all. npm install, and we will save this as dev Vitests. There we go. Yeah, thanks, Vilinov. All right, we installed Vitest, and yeah, we should just start writing tests now. Cool. We need to see how we can do this. Let's see. The tests that we're going to be writing are going to be not for the mocked repository, but they're going to be for the use cases, which is going to be, in this case, the collections use case, right? All right, we get some messages. Let's check them out. Let's take a minute to check out the messages. I haven't been following the series from the beginning, but this seems really useful. Planning to binge watch it soon. Yeah, we've done a lot. I think there's like 15 plus hours of content so far, but I also plan to summarize everything that I've learned in a like a special YouTube course, so you don't have to watch like 20 hours of live streams. We are figuring things out right now. Basically, if you create a unit test that depends on the other one, it actually is an integration test. True. Yeah. Yeah. All right. This is going to be the testing target. We're going to be testing the collections use case, and in order to construct this, you see that we also inject a bunch of stuff from the DI from the DI container. That means we also need to use inversify in the tests file. So let's see. We write .test.js, which is going to be the exact same file. Yeah, we have a test, and it just runs. Do we need a configuration? I don't think we need one. And do we need to get the tests outside of the directory? What is the convention for this? We have use cases, services, repositories inside of the application. Do we have tests inside of the services, or tests inside of the application, tests inside of the source, or tests outside everything? Let's see some repos. Let's see some repos. There's a tests folder outside, and I've seen this a lot. There we go. You see, there's like files integration, jest integration, slices, etc. Let's open that repo. Clean architecture. There we go. This one. There's like end-to-end tests here. E2E stands for end-to-end, and there are tests inside of this folder. There we go. These are feature tests. Okay, let's go to the source and see if this IOC, I think it was in domain. Yeah, all the stuff were in domain. Packages, use cases, let's see. So apparently there are no tests for the use case in this repo. But I like this. I've seen this pattern a lot. Outside of at the root folder, you have tests, and that's where all your tests live. So let's do that. Right here, I'm going to create tests and slash a new directory. Let's see, because we could also have end-to-end tests. I'm going to create a new one called unit, and then what I would do is just try to replicate the exact folder structure that we have here inside of the source. Right, so for example, in test unit, there's going to be application and all of this. If we want to, test out the entities, for example, some entities might contain validation logic in them. Right now, we only export collection schemas, ZOD schemas, sorry. And the validation exists, but it's not explicit, right? It's just inherited by ZOD. But yeah, there could be validation logic that we want to test. So I'm going to do that. Inside of the unit, I'm going to say application. And then we can say use cases. And then we'll say collections, use cases dot tests. And you don't see this. Collection use cases dot tests dot ts. This is going to be the file, test file that tests this file, right? Application slash use cases slash this file. Application, use cases, this file. I think this makes sense, right? I don't think it's like too much to think about. All right. We have the file set up. Let's see. We installed Vitest. We just need expect and test, basically. Test defines a unit tests. Expect defines the what we want to happen when we invoke a certain method. Some of these, I guess all of these testing libraries, they have more than just test expect, test expect. There are workspace. No, it's not. Let's see, features. Let's read through this basically. There's a watch mode as well. Interesting. Yeah, there's a describe. Describe basically defines a test suite. And in this case, we can define a test suite for all of the collections, right? So let's do that. I'm going to import from Vitest. And is this a... Yeah, this looks like jest, right? You can see that there's an it in here, which defines a unit test, but it can also be the test method that defines a unit test. And this is probably that jest compatibility that we saw on the doc site. This one. Because I think this is just describing it. Yeah. All right. Describing it, right? We're going to describe a new test suite, which is going to be collections use cases, right? There we go. We have our test suite, and inside using the it, we can just start writing our tests. But we also need a way to bring in the DI container, because we need that. So here we have the container, application container. If we say give me the references, we only have the get injection method. The application container by itself is not being used anywhere, but the get injection method is being used pretty much everywhere. See, these are the server actions here. And when we import the get injection method, it's gonna execute this whole file. It's going to set up the container, load all of the modules, initialize the container, and this is how we set up. So we can just simply use the get injection. That's it. No, I can't, because check this out. Use cases. It has some services injected through the constructor, so we have to use the get injection method to grab the collection use cases. Yeah. All right. So should we do that? I guess we should do that for. I guess we should do that once. So how we have described here, there's usually build up and tear down methods for all of for the test suites. Aren't they just decorators though? They are optionally applied. Let's see. We need to instantiate the authentication service, and here's how we instantiate the collections repository that we just mocked. Yeah, we can if I do, let's see. If I do new collections use cases, and let's bring that in. Yeah, expected 2 arguments, but got 0. Because we have to pass these 2. And Inversify are gonna pull in this one for us. And this is going to be our mocked repository. So yeah, we would have to create the mock repository by hand. Yeah. Let's see. Let's think about the, build up and tear down methods. Let's see. Because we just want to do that once. Tear down, set up and tear down. Not build up, but set up before each. There we go. Oh, you still meant to pass them in, but not depend on Inversify. Yeah, we would have to manually instantiate them. And then we would need to do, new mock repository. Let's see. Let's see if, Inversify. No, these questions are very valid. Yeah. But let's see if Inversify makes it harder for us to test. I think it should make it easier for us, right? It's dependency injection, is inversion of control. Part of it, why it exists, is because it should help us isolate logical units so that we can test them. And if it represents a problem, then it's not gonna be that. So yeah. Before each, after each, before all, after all. I don't think we need these. And there's on test finished as well. There we go. Can also do DB stuff. Interesting. Yeah, but the caching is already built in, so we don't need a setup or teardown. At least for these two methods. We'll see if we need to do that later. Yeah, right now it should create a collection with it should create a collection with valid input, right? There we go. And this should be async because all of our methods are asynchronous. So here I need to instantiate the collections use cases, and we'll just say get injection. There it is. And the symbol is going to be collections use cases. There we go. Nice. Collections use cases dot there is collections create collection, and it takes in a title and a description. Yeah. So let's do that. I'm going to define a title, and I'm going to set it to yeah, in the teardown we can definitely like after each we can definitely empty the collections array if if that doesn't happen. And I think it's not going to happen. But check this out. Hold on. Let's just see what happens, but I think it's not going to happen. And I think I need to do some stuff in this case. Right? When we register the mock collections repository, we get to pick. There's a construct build binding in. We get to pick what is the method or the strategy that we want. Maybe we can do this on requests. So every time that we request the collections repository or the service that requests that, it should be recreated, right? As you can see, right, by default is singleton, but maybe we should do something else in a requests scope, right? This one should be in a request scope, so we don't do the tear up, tear down. Let's see, request scope. So we don't do the tear down method, because if we do the tear down method, that means that we need to add something inside of the interface to trigger that functionality. And we can't put that in the interface because it's not going to be the case for the production repository, but just the mock repository. So I think this would work. First, though, I'm gonna see what happens. Maybe Vitest does something. We'll see. If not, we can just say in request scope, and that's going to force the container to recreate the collections repository, the mock collections repository each time, so that the constructor is hit each time, so that the collections array is instantiated back into an empty array. But we'll revisit this. I think this is going to be the case, the solution, at least, without needing to do more changes. Yeah. Hey, Daniel, thanks for the sub. All right, I'm gonna get this out. Let's go back to the test file. There we go. The title is going to be Next.js plus clean architecture. The description is gonna be clean architecture is super fun. Now let's be cheesy. Clean architecture is super fun. Yay. So the only thing that we need to do is just create the collection, right? I'll wait. And here's when things need to be, let's see. Actually, we don't need collection. We just need to say expect from Vitest. There we go. Bring it in. Expect, await, collections, use cases dot create collection, and the only collection. The only thing we need to pass is the title and description. And we're passing them as an object. Yeah. Title, description. There we go. So we want this to, let's see how we can do this. Yeah, it should have let's check out the basic sample. Way too basic. What I have in mind right now is when we do this, the create collection can also throw. And in order to write tests that make sure that, you know, it will throw in specific cases, we need to wrap this in, you know, well, maybe we do that specifically for them. Yeah. Collection equals, there we go. If we expect it to throw, that's when we're going to wrap it, because right now we need the data, but in that case, we're going to need the exception. We're going to wrap the create collection when we need the exception, but in this case, we don't expect an exception, but we need the data. That's why we can do it like this. So that's when we can say expect collection dot, right, title to be title. There we go. And we can also say expect collection dot description to be what? Oh, hold on a second. Interesting. I just thought of something. We also need to mock the authentication service first, because every collection has a created by, and we need to mock that first. Lord, okay, let's see. Let's put a pause here. Let's put a pause here and go back and see how we can do that, because use cases, this is mocked, this is not. And create collection, see, it gets the user from the authentication service, but it uses Supabase. It's not gonna be the case in a unit test, so we need to also mock this. Get the fingerprint, that's cool. Create the collection, return it. Yeah, everything looks good. We just need to mock the authentication service. So let's go with that. Let's go and do that. There's a repository and here's the service. So I need to do authentication service dot mock.ts and put the original one on the side so that we can see what's going on. Export class. Oh, we also need to make this injectable as well. See, it is injectable here. That means it should be injectable here as well. Right? Cool. So here's the original one. Let's open the mocked one. Bring in injectable. We are going to inject this. Mock authentication service. Implement authentication service and bring that in from the application layer. Oh, there's a typo. Let's try that again. There we go. Damn it, Copilot. This one. There we go. All right. Implement this and we'll put this aside. There's going to be a get user, sign in with provider, sign in with password right now, because I don't want to spend a lot of time. Right now, I just want to mock the get user. Okay. And I always want to return. Hold on a second now. Get user returns like a user, not from Supabase, but from entities. There we go. Promise.resolve. It needs just an ID, right? I don't know, test Lazar. Let's go with that. So we're only going to be doing this. Get user, it's going to return a plain object with an ID because created by is going to be an ID, right? And this could and should be a constant because we might want to, you know, test. We'll see. I'll keep it simple for now, okay? There's the mock authentication service. We also need to close the whole new of him there. We also need to register this source di modules authentication module, and let's do the same. If the process.environment.node environment is tests, want to do something else, we want to do something else, which is this. Copy this, bring it here, and this is going to be the mock authentication service. That's it. All good. And that can be a singleton because we're literally just returning an object. This should be okay now. Use cases, collection use case. All right. The moment of truth. Let's see. We don't need a Vitest configuration file. So let's just do space test. And let's just run the nearest, which is this one. Bam. DI container. Resolved. Oh, okay. Does this file exist? See? Interesting. Source di container.ts. This cannot be loaded from the unit tests. You saw that, right? What was the output? There we go. Failed to load the URL. Okay, so this might be, yeah, doesn't resolve module aliases by default. So we probably need a configuration file. Let's see how we can do that. We're outside source. Yeah. We're outside of source. Good point. Let's see. tsconfig matches these, but I guess we need to. Yeah, tsconfig has an alias. So when we say bring me @/di, it should get into the source and do the thing. Or we can do like a tilde, but if this works, then this should work as well, right? So it's definitely, let's see, it's definitely module. There's a page in Vitest docs for using tsconfig. Oh, let's see. Type check tsconfig. Nope. Configuring. It's possible that you rely on base URL. Vit doesn't take into account tsconfig by default, so you might need to install Vit tsconfig paths yourself if you rely on this behavior. So I guess we need this, but this is for Vit. We are not in Vit, right? We are, let's see. Oh, there we go. You can like, yeah, I guess we need to do this, right? Manually punch in all of the aliases. So I'm going to create the Vitest config, I guess. And the config file was mjs, vitest.config.mjs. Oh, it can be a TS as well. can be a TS as well. JS, MJS, CJS, TS, CTS, and MTS. Yeah, let's keep it as TS then. We'll do vitest.config.ts. We'll go back and we'll do define config from vitest /config. No, not test. Actually, yes. Test alias. And this is where we punch in our aliases. And I guess we only need one. Like so. New URL. Source. Import.meta. And this is Vitam. I guess it still uses Vit, right? Import meta is a Vit thingy. We are in Next.js, but the unit tests are not going to run in a Next.js runtime, right? Because that's like Webpack, I think, for now, unless they change it to SWC, the bundler. Or maybe I'm just confused. I guess I'm just confused. But yeah, let's see if this works. I really hope it does. Test and then run the nearest. Yeah, let's see. Failed to load. Does this file exist? So it's not really. We didn't solve it, right? We didn't solve it. Vtests tsconfig aliases. Yeah, this looks like an old. This looks like an old. Oh, what is that? Process.environment.vtest. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's see. Right, this is the case. I'm not sure about the test though. There's server, there's resolve, and this is like at the top level. Yeah, it is an alias here. Okay. So it's inside of the tests. How do we know that it's inside of the tests? To the following options, you can also use any configuration. For example, define to define global variables, or resolve.alias to define aliases. Well, is this the case? Because it's import.meta. Let's see. Vitest Next.js tsconfig. This doc site does not actually show us how to achieve that. The Vitest config is just environment set to JS DOM. We don't want to do that. Should we look into this? The most practical solution was to install the Vite tsconfig paths. I'm not sure if it's compatible in a Next.js project though. Give Vite the ability to resolve imports using TypeScript's path mapping. Should we try it? You think we should try it? Vite tsconfig. Got the same results. Answer updated. You also need to update your TypeScript compiler options. Oh. Well, we already have this. There's a resolve. Let's try this. I feel like this should be simpler. Resolve. It is a alias. It is, yeah. It works with Vitest and Vite. Haven't tested it with Next.js. Yeah, let's see if this is the solution. Damn it, buffers. Okay. So without this, there we go. That was the case. And it says that we also need to update the paths, which we already have. We open tsconfig. We can see here's the paths and here's the source. Yeah. All right, let's give it a spin now. Tests run the nearest. There we go. So now we have reflection. And for that, we just need to import. It works, by the way. If we have this error, it works. So we need to import reflect metadata inside of this file, and we should be good. You see that? Check it out. Should create a collection with valid input. Beautiful. I have an issue with the fonts here. The coloring. I need to fix that. But yeah. The CJS build of Vite's Node API is deprecated. See this guy. Okay. There is a warning that we might, look into it, but so far so good. Right? And can we also do this? Collection dot created by to be tests Lazar, right? There it is. And if I just do a test, it should fail. Yeah. Oh, we also got a fancy window at the bottom. Expect the test Lazar to be tests. Beautiful. I like this. I like this. Nice. Yeah. We have a test now. right? Let's make another one. It should, let me just double check I want to make a test where it throws, right? We expect it to throw an error when the repository, oh, get collection is yeah, okay, let's do that as well. So when we want to create a collection that already, that already exists, a collection with a fingerprint that already exists, we are going to run into uh, a collision, right? We can try doing that, but let me just check the error, because Postgres errors. Let's see. No, these are not it. We need the Postgres, this one. Error codes. There we go. So 116. 116 is like more than one or no items were returned. So when we want to say get collection with this fingerprint and there is no collection with that fingerprint, the 116 error will be thrown, which we have it mapped as a not found one. But then we also need a way to say you can't really create that. I guess it's going to be the same one, right? 116, more than one or no items were returned. Yeah, I guess it's going to be the same. Let's try that. First, I need to make a change. I'm going to go to the use cases here and see how we have fingerprint here. I'm just going to fake it. I'm going to go to localhost 54323 and just grab one of the collections. Let me see. Look what we can do that. This is it. Okay, so let's grab this one. Instead of fingerprint, we're just gonna hard code this one, right? And let's see what gets thrown, what type of error gets thrown. I'm gonna go to the real repository and put a breakpoint here. What are you doing? Debug. Toggle breakpoint. Okay, weird. All right, let's run this. I'm gonna try to create a collection, but it's going to inherit a hard-coded fingerprint. So let's see what type of error gets thrown, so that we can match it. I think it might be the same one, 116. In that case, we need to update our error because it's not just not found. It can also be something else. Oh, there we go. Duplicate key value violates unique constraint. It's a different type. So the code is 23505, and this is a PostgreSQL. It's not a Postgres. So this is the 23505. You see that? Duplicate key value violates unique constraints. Okay. Okay, we need an error for that. We have the not found. We have the operation error. In this case, it's going to be an operation error because that's the default error. But we need something for this. SQL, PostgreSQL. Duplicate key value violates unique constraints. Yeah. Any ideas on how we can properly name this? Actually, I should go to the infrastructure because that's where we are. I'll just say duplicate key value error or constraint violation, right? Yeah, let's call it like that. Let's go grab this and say it's going to be a constraint violation error. It's really tied to a database, right? That means that there are like database constraints and stuff. But can't think of a better one. It's not really a yeah. Let's just do that. Let's just do that. Now let me see inside here. It was the code was 23505. Unique constraint. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Unique constraint violation. There we go. So the value 23505 not found. This is the unique constraint violation equals 23505. Oh, it's not equals. We're in an object. So in that case, we want to return a new unique constraint violation error, pass the message, and also the full cause. There we go. And these are not Postgres anymore. These are going to be what are these going to be? For example, in this case, the argument is set to Postgres, but what is the type? Nothing. It's just an error object. It doesn't have to be a Postgres. Let's see then. Yeah, it's a plain object. Let's see if the error, but I can't really do that in here. Yeah. Yeah, it'll say what is the Postgres error. Okay. There's a type. Message details, hint and code. And we only need a code basically, right? Oh, there's a message as well. I'm gonna pull out the Postgres error, and I'm just gonna keep it vague. There's gonna be a message as well. Yeah, error and message. There we go. So we don't really depend on the Supabase type. We'll just keep it vague. The error must have a code and a message. And if we pass anything else, it's still going to be, put there. There we go. So now we have a unique constraint violation error. Okay, thank you. And now, exactly in the repository, where are we? Actually, it's in the use case. It's in the use case. We need to remove this part right here. So back in the tests, it should throw a unique constraint violation error when creating a collection with existing fingerprint. Woo. It's a long name. There we go. So let's try that again. Let's try that again. And how are we going to mock this? We can't mock this. The create collection is just gonna recreate a fingerprint. Ooh, interesting. Well, we can actually mock the fingerprint method using Vitests. That's how we're gonna do that. All right, check this out. You see the case, right? You have a use case, create collection. You want to unit test that, but you want to call it twice. And inside of the unit test, you wanted to create the collection with the same fingerprint. But this is the actual code that you're using in your app, right? You have the fingerprint here, which calls the nano ID function. You can't really, you can't pass the fingerprint from the outside. That's not going to be okay. We need to use the Vitest ability to mock functions. And I'll show you how. There we go. Use fake timers, use real timers. And this is from V. Comes from Vitest. But there's also a way to mock functions. Spying and mocking. Sometimes all you need to is validate whether or not a specific function has been called. Messages can also be getter setter. Restore all mocks. It should get the latest message with a spy. Spy on the messages function. Get latest. Should get with a mock. Oh, there we go. So we can do like .v.fn.mock implementation, and we can pass in get latest. Can we pass in? How do we do this? How do we do this? So get latest is a function, just like the nano ID is. We need to mock this. Let's read this. Mocking functions can be split up into two different categories: spying and mocking. Sometimes all you need is to validate whether or not a specific function has been called, and possibly which arguments were passed. In these cases, a spy would be all we need, which you can use directly with v.spyon. Yeah, just another, a way to hook into a specific function and, spy on it. However, spies can only help you spy functions. They're not able to alter the implementation. In this case, we do need to create a fake version of a function we can use, v.fn. Yeah. We use TinySpy as a base for mocking functions, but we have our own wrapper to make it jest compatible. Both share the same methods. However, only the return result of fn is callable. All right, let's see. Spy, that's the spy. And then we say expect spy to be called n times. Okay. But let's see here. Oh, there we go. Mock. And then we can pass in the mock implementation. Mock implementation once. And it's going to return access restricted. If we call the mock, it's going to return that. But I guess we can do this, right? Mock implementation once. Or we could just say mock implementation, like not just once. And it's just going to return, it's going to return that string. I guess we can do that. Let's see. Vitest mock npm package function. See if someone else has already done this. Oh yeah. Mock modules observe third-party libraries that are invoked in some other code, allowing you to test arguments. Auto-mocking. Oh yeah, check it out. You can basically mock the nano ID package and return a function that's, that will return something else. I guess this is what we need. Yeah. Okay, let's do that. Create collection brings in nano ID from nano ID, right? Okay, interesting. I guess we can go in now and do v, which comes from vtests, v.mock nano ID. We also have the import original, and we need to return await import original, type of import nano ID, and then invoke it. Yeah, and then we'll say nano ID is going to be a function that takes in a number of characters, but it's going to return a fixed test fingerprint, right? We don't even need this. So this is how we can set up like mock nano ID inside of this test, hopefully, right? By the book, this is how we can do this. So when we invoke the create collection, it's actually going to invoke this one. And this is the whole module. And this is a named function, right? So if you go inside of you'll see that it's a named function. It's not the default. Okay. This looks okay to me. And then what we want to do is we want to like restore the mocks at the end, right? Restore. Yeah. Always remember to clear or restore mocks before or after each test to undo mock state changes. Yeah. Mock reset. Okay. So I guess this is where we can do the after each, or just do this. Let's see, v dot mock reset all mocks, or just do mock reset. No. What is this on mock reset? I guess it's a function that we need to bring in. Not true. Calls mock restore on every mocked function. This will restore all original implementations. Clear is if you need to clean up mock between different assertions. Okay. reset once implementations and force the base implementation to return undefined. Removes module from mocked registry. Okay, we are doing that, right? Yeah. Okay, so if we say, we can just say this, right? Mock nano ID. In between, we'll have it mocked, and then at the end, we'll say unmock, so it removes nano ID from the mocked block. Okay, let's see this. In this case, let's do this. First, we need the, this is where the test actually begins. Here's one collection. Hey, Gabriel, how's it going? So collection one, we're not gonna pass. Oh, title, of course. Title is collection one. We're not gonna pass a description in this case. We want to keep it simple. There's collection. Come on now, collection one. There we go. And we want to do the same. I mean, we want to do, check this out. Expect, await, collections use cases. Create collection, right? This is when we are going to wrap the create collection with an expect, because we wanted to expect it to throw. Title, we're going to say collection 2, right? To throw error. Exactly. To throw error, and then let's see. How do we do that? Expect. Now you missed it a bit. It's all right. Yeah, we, just to give you up to speed, we mocked the repository. So if you go to infrastructure, we implemented a new mock collections repository. We installed Vitest, and now we're writing unit tests for the for the collections use cases class. Right, we already created one, and this should be okay. There we go. This is cool, and this is, we'll wait for this one. But yeah, this is basically, you don't need this one to throw error, but let's see how that's being done. To throw error. So this is based on the message, I guess, right? To test async functions, use in combination with rejects. Interesting. So I guess we need to do that, because this is a expect dot reject, and then do not await it, I guess, right? Get async fruit stock. Yeah, do not await it. Get the rejects, and then to throw an error, and then the actual error inside is going to be like a string or something like that. Hey Mohammed, just joined. What is this all about? We implemented clean architecture in a Next.js project, and now we are writing unit tests. So we created a mock repository that doesn't use a real database, but it uses like an array to keep the data. And now we're testing the use cases, which are basically the services for the applications, for the application. Yeah. Okay. When we try to do that, this is going to throw that new error that we just created. And that was in entities, errors, common, unique constraint violation error. This is going to be that message, right? This is going to be that message that we 23505 duplicate key value violates unique constraints, right? And we can write a regex for that, I guess. duplicate key value violates unique constraint. I guess that was the, yeah, okay, let's see. Run this one. Nope. Promise resolved. Fingerprint, what? Interesting. Instead of rejecting. But you see the... Okay, so our mock doesn't work. You see the fingerprint? Yeah. We didn't mock this properly. This is not, yeah, that's not being mocked. Okay, let's go back to the... Let's go back here. Hey, Hanulak. Thanks for joining. How's it going? All right, Vitest mock function from npm package. Okay. Leaflet. Mock the import itself, mocking the map. Keep in mind that v.mock is mocking an entire module, so calling v.mock leaflet map doesn't actually work. Refers to the module being imported. Okay, so this is basically what we want to do, right? v.mock. This is going to be, let's see, nano ID. And then we have the import original. And then we... Oh, there we go. I guess this is the... Yeah. We need to do v.fn.mock return value. Right? So the return value will be test fingerprint. So it's always that. Analog says, I'm in the process of creating my e-commerce with Next.js, Medusa, and Directus. So I need a good example of architectures. Yeah, this is so far I like what we've done here. I think it's clean. Is this the correct? Let's see. Test run. Nope. What is the issue? Again, yeah. It's not being mocked. Okay, how do we do this then? How do we do this then? Nano ID is the name of the package. And we return everything. And we just want this function to be mocked. When will we have a source code? Yeah, after we figure all of these things. Right now we're just testing, which is another validation that our architecture works. But briefly after this, because I think this is the last piece. If we can make tests work, which honestly we did. Right, here it is. This one works. We're getting the create collection use case, but it doesn't have a database behind it. So in a way, it does work. If I write my code with function instead, yeah, instead of using create use case classes, if you write your use cases in functions, you need to mock that, right? That's why I used classes, so that I can use the di container to, change up the implementations. Can't you just wait for using in JS? What do you mean that? Do we need to Do we need it to be async? The nano ID? No, I think it's right. Let's see. Oh, it's not here. Yeah, it's a synchronous method. Well, it does implement the size. We don't use it, but it does have it there. But there's no way to do this then, right? .map will return a set view object. An object that contains set view property, which is a function. .map will return an object. There we go. Which is a function. Okay. Return default. And this is only for one. Maybe that's the case. v.mock. And we don't want to return the default one because that's how you import leaflets. But we don't want to. We just want to do this basically. No, let's try that again. Nope. It doesn't want to throw. Sami, what are you referring to? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go inside of the create collection and ask ChatGPT or Copilot about it. Using Vitest, right? Mock function that mocks the return value of the nano ID function to always return a hard-coded value. Let's see if Copilot is smart enough to do this. Yeah, I did pretty much the same, but using jest, not with using. See? Just.mock. And now, okay, well, that's not the case, right? We don't want to do this. Expect nano ID to be hard-coded value. That's okay. But we we do this in the use case. So we want to mock this, return nano ID. We already do that. Again. There we go. Mock nano ID, return nano ID here, v.function, mock return value, and then hard-coded value. It's literally the same, right? Here. Oh, you mean we need to... Yeah, this one is imported because it's being used here. But we're not going to be using it here. I thought that we could mock nano ID and use it inside of the create collection. You know? Mock nano ID. Let's see if... Yeah, there we go. You didn't mock the nano ID module correctly. Uses named exports, okay? Color code. I still don't have access. I still don't have like public access to this source code. We're gonna be pushing a different project. Yeah, sorry about that. Again, this is not what we want to do, right? Mock application model. Create. Just adding this to the test file works in 2023. Well, sure. Just.mock nano ID. No, look at that. Application DTO, mock application model, mock return value only once, ID is 1. Then he creates the example, create app with that, and the actual mock return value only once. Well, that's what we did, if I understood it correctly. Maybe it needs to be like outside of the suite. Is that the case? We'll see about the... We don't need to unmock it. Resolved something instead of rejecting. You're on the stream. Hold on, you're gonna cause a trouble. There we go. The promise resolves something. Well, show us what that something is. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna duplicate this, you know? What is going on? Yeah. I'm gonna go here and I'm going to do this again. And I'm gonna leave this here just in case. But I want to put 2 breakpoints here and I want to debug the tests. Where is it? I'm gonna run it first. Yeah, I'm gonna run it first and then I want to debug it. Okay, so let's see. Here's again, we also have another breakpoint, so I'm gonna continue. Oh, look at that. So fingerprint actually works, you see that? Yeah, await the expect. I thought it returned the promise and then Vitest actually resolved the promise. But check it out, the fingerprint actually works, right? Test fingerprint. Okay, we do have this. Cool, cool, cool. Yeah. Await it here. All right, so I'm gonna close this. Yeah, don't need the breakpoint here. This works, but I'm gonna bring it back into here because I want it to be contained only here. And then I want to do v.unmock nano ID. So it removes, the mock from the registry. So collection 1 is here, collection 2 is here, but it needs to throw. Let's see if the mock repository actually throws. Does it throw? No, it doesn't throw, right? It doesn't throw, it just pushes it. Oh my god. We forgot to implement the behavior. That's why it doesn't throw anything. All right. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. Existing collection. This collections finds if the collection.fingerprint matches the fingerprint that we have from the arguments, right? This is where we're going to throw the new unique constraint violation error, right? Where the message is, oh, await the expect. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see. Unique constraint violation error. This is gonna be the message duplicate thingy, right? And I'm just gonna do duplicate key violates unique constraint. And I'm not going to add the constraint message, the actual constraint, because in the tests we have a regex. So this regex should basically pass duplicate value, duplicate key value, violate unique constraints. Yeah. Okay. That should work. My cat is in front of my screen, so I can't see what I'm typing here. Dude, we'll play later. Come on. Okay. He wants to pair program, but he wants to do that while standing in front of the screen. So I can't see anything. All right. I feel like this should work, right? We await the first one. So now let's see. You mean should we wait? Oh, you mean yeah, before it unlocks. Good point. Good point. Let's see. Expect returns a promise. Yeah. Okay. Let's see now. Promise resolved instead of rejecting. How is that possible? I don't believe it. I don't believe it, and that's why. Look at that. My whole UI is just. Damn it. This is. Yeah, not good. I love NeoVim, except for when I don't. All right, let's see. This is happening. I'm gonna put a breakpoint here, a breakpoint here, a breakpoint here, and a breakpoint here inside. So now let's do test and debug last tests, probably, or debug nearest. Let's just go debug nearest. There we go. Okay, create collection. Do it once. We already have a collection. Kind of like I was talking about this. Yeah, I totally, missed it. All right, let's see now. Which breakpoint are we gonna hit first? The innermost or this one? Because if we hit this one, it's gonna be trouble. Okay, collections use case, create a collection 2, right? And that's where it says promise resolved instead of rejecting. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the docs. We don't care about mocking at this time. We just care about the expect tests. can provide an optional argument to test that a specific error is thrown. Do a regex or a string. Error message includes the substring. Okay. Yeah. First, that means that we can just do this if it includes the substring. Remove this one. Let's try it like that then. All right, breakpoint 1. There we go. Create collection. Yeah, same thing. It resolves, but hold on a second. Why does it have a fingerprint? Like I'm gonna put a breakpoint here as well. Let's see what's going on. Here's the first one, right? Damn it. Okay. There we go. Here's the first one, right? And if we go check out the value, the fingerprint is actually this one, you see? It's not actually... Damn it, what is going on? Now it's not working, the nano ID mock. But we did see it one time, right? We saw it outside. When it was outside. When it was here. I'm gonna put a breakpoint as well, and let's see. Let's see it now. Okay, here's the first one. I'm gonna continue. Let's see if we jump into the mock at the top. We don't, but let's see. First one. The fingerprint is still mocked. I mean, unmocked. It's still the real one. So we have an issue. How did we manage to pull this? What did we do? Fingerprint still has value. I think we need a video on this. We need a video on this. Like, look at it. Nano ID, return nano ID. And this is like using the mock return value, or in this case, it's just returning. Let's try that. Maybe that's the freaking case. I don't know. Return this then. Here's the function. This is the whole function. Yeah. All right, let's see if that's the case. We need to keep it simple. Continue. Nope, fingerprint is still there. Okay, this is weird. There's nano ID. New item, and the item is, yeah, nano ID is being used in the... I think we did, I don't know, I'm gonna remove it just in case. So just like, you know, mock it. There we go. Let's try that again. Test fingerprint. Okay. What is going on? Okay. Something good catch, but why? So if I bring this back, it should still work, correct? Yeah, test fingerprint. It's there. So it's like, okay. Okay. There's one test right here. If I do v.mock, that means we need to, we need to like remove it after each, like do it before each or something like that. Hey Zhao, it's a private project, but I'm gonna be publishing a new one. Also very good content and perfect explanation of the concept. Thank you. Thanks. I appreciate it. But yeah, I'm gonna be publishing a course where we're going to be building like a much simpler to do project. After I get all of my, after I learn all of the details. All right, so mocking is more complex than we thought. Always remember to clear or restore mocks before or after each test to run the undo mock state changes between runs. See mock reset. Okay. Can we have a before this? So not before all of them, but before this test in that case. Let's see. Where are the lifecycle events? Before each, before all. Vitest mock function only for one tests. And use the actual function in others. Yeah. You will want to mock it just for this one. There we go. So they put the mock inside. Both tests work if I run them only once, but they don't work when combined. Running clear or reset doesn't help. Defining a global mock and overriding it in my first test doesn't work either. After lots of trial and error, I finally got it to work. I can't really tell why my previous tries do not work though. So mock this. But I don't want to do this all the time. This is the import actual. Cool, that's all right, but we would have to do this every time in every test. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Okay, so what if I do this? I'll put it here inside, right? And the fingerprint is always test fingerprint. I want to say expect collection dot fingerprint, and this is the other test above, not to be. Not. How is the to be not? How's not to be? Expect not. Not to, okay. Not to be, and then we'll say test fingerprint, right? Okay, I'm gonna run this once. And then test fingerprint is test fingerprint, right? Interesting. This is cool. This is not. That's what I'm saying. I guess we should do this then. Before each, right? Before each, we should do where's the mock? Mock reset. Okay, and this is something. V reset all mocks. Force the base implementation to return undefined. This will calls mock restore on every mocked function. This will restore all original implementations. I guess that's what we want to do, right? Restore all mocks. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna run this now. Success, right? There it is. This works, right? It does throw the error, and it does reject, and it does throw this specific error. And this should also work. Expect the test fingerprint not to be there. Okay, maybe because the way that I'm running these, I feel like this should also. Let me put a breakpoint here, and then debug this one. Yeah, before each will restore all the mocks. Can we test like v.mock or mocks? Can we see like what are all of the mocks? All the instances that were instantiated when mock was called. v.mock.instances. No. How can we? Okay. Nigel, can we do after each instead so that we are sure it's cleared after the specific? Yeah, we can do that as well. Let's see if that makes any difference. So instead of before, we're gonna do after each. Okay. I'm gonna put it here, a breakpoint here, a breakpoint here, and a breakpoint here. Okay, let's debug this one. Okay, there we go. And then restore all the mocks. And now I'm gonna do this one. And of course it does fail. And why is that happening? What if I do run all tests? Let's do that. Yeah. Run all tests will... This doesn't clear the mocks. I don't know why though. v.mock, nano ID, return it. Why don't you just like... Is this something that needs to be awaited? This is a void one. Okay, you see? So that is very weird. And if this is here, then maybe we should just like put it as like the global one. Again, doesn't actually work. After each, doesn't restore any of the mocks. And is that what restoring is? Does what mock reset does and restores inner implementations to the original function. If you want this method to be called before each test automatically, you can enable mock reset in config. And now clearing mocks says that it will, but not reset. Okay, it's not going to. Restore is probably what we need, right? We'll call mock restore on all spies before each test. This will clear mock history and reset its implementation to the original one. I mean, doesn't hurt to try, right? So I want to put this. Yeah, I wanna put this here inside of the test, because if we're doing after, we're doing before, right? Before each test, then we do want this to be mocked here and for it to be reset here. And then let's go into Vitest config and try to do that. Mock reset is what we're looking for. I guess tests. Yeah, mock reset. Set it to true. This will clear the mock history and reset its implementation to an empty function. Restore, not reset, right? Damn it. Restore mocks. Restore does that. Clear mock history and reset its implementation to the original one. What does that mean? The mock history implementation to the original one? Or to an empty function? Maybe we need a reset instead of a restore, you know? Maybe we want to do that. Okay, I'm gonna keep it at here. I'm gonna try to run the tests again. It's not working. Maybe that's the case. Mock reset. We want to set the mock history function. I guess that's the registry, right? Set the mock registry to an empty function, not to the original one. Maybe that's the original one. Okay, reset instead of restore makes no, literally it just makes no difference. Oh wait, and even this one doesn't work, you see? So if I run this only once and that test itself, we get an error now. Oh, hold on a second. This one runs the first time. And you know what this means, right? This means that it's not this create collection that throws, but this is the create collection that throws. And that means that we need to go into the DI and potentially put this in the request scope so that we can, I'm going to put a breakpoint here so that we can actually restore the collections. Damn it. The use here vacuum. There's like a vacuum outside my apartment. Okay, let's see now. console log mock collections repo init. All right, let's just like see. Mock collections repo init. And this one fails again. But it's been, yeah, it got executed only once. So running this will fail, but running this, yeah, you see that? Get injection. Let's see. Our mocked repository is only, where is it? Is only instantiated once. So when we actually, run the second test, this dot underscore collections will be pre-populated. Restore all mocks. Yeah, we'll see. I need to fix this though. But let's try to fix the. But no, we have a different issue now. This one. All right, let me see. Restore all mocks, and this was like before each. V restore all mocks. Yeah, I see. Expected test fingerprint, not to be test fingerprint. Because we shouldn't use the mock in this case. So this literally has no effect on it. We will say restore all mocks, and then when we go and do this, it's still gonna be mocked. Maybe this is, wait a minute. Hold on a second. First, I don't know why. Yeah, the fingerprint is set to test fingerprints. Is this potentially a DI issue? I mean, we do say restore all mocks here, right? But somehow this v.mock happens. I'm gonna put a breakpoint there, breakpoint here, and I'm going to debug this one. Yeah. Okay, that is very weird. I'm thinking maybe it's a container issue, you know, like when we actually bring in the get injection, that happens after we mock this. So every, you know, the modules will be cached with that function pre-mocked. I don't know. I don't know. It should be. What if I comment this out and debug this test? Yeah. It's all good then. So before we mock it, and after each, and I'm gonna put it actually here. V restore all mocks. This will restore all original implementations and bring in after each. Yeah, right. All right, breakpoint here, breakpoint here, breakpoint here. Debug this one. Well, in this case, yeah. In this case, it does make sense, right? We are mocking this. And then we get into this. Yeah. I mean, sure, if I remove it, that was the thing. If we do this, this is by default the behavior. If we do before each, I don't want the nano ID to be mocked for these tests, you know? And yeah. And I don't see that restore mocks actually does anything, to be honest. Why are we having so much issues? I don't get it. But I also think it might be the, it might be the case. No. Wrong. I need this here. And I don't need it here. And after it, restore it. I mean, before, basically, before each, restore it. All right, so let's debug this now. Breakpoint here. Check the collection. Test fingerprint. All right, this is annoying. Come on now, no. Vitest does not work as, not Vitest, but like nvim test doesn't work as I expected. It keeps messing up my UI. But let's see. I think this is there's no only or except function filter for mocks. I don't know. I saw mock once or something like that. There's a path and there's a factory. Let's get into this then. Let's see what the factory is. Import original. Yeah. But then there's like unmock. Removes modules from mocked registry. All calls to imports will return to the original module even if it was mocked before. Yeah. Yeah. So v unmock nano ID should just work, right? Should just simply work. Yeah, but now it doesn't want to work. So the first test works now, but then now this doesn't work because v.mock. No way. What if I do this then? Before each, I want to do this. All right, let's see what happens. The first one's going to fail. No, this one is failing now. What if I do this then? And no before each. Now, right now, we're just like shooting in the dark. We have no idea what we're doing. Yeah, you see, now we actually... Now this one works, but if we do mock here, It doesn't throw. So this doesn't work now because we have unmock somewhere. Lord, okay. After each, place it here. You here. Let's also bring in after each. Of course now. Before each, unmock the nano ID. But in this case, it will unmock it and then it will mock it, unless... Nope. No, nothing works. You see that? This one doesn't work. Why? Oh no, that one works. Clear all mocks. Yeah, docs say it's useful for setting mocks between assertions when you hover on the function. In before each. We'll call mock clear on all spies before each tests. Well, this is in the, hold on, this is in the config. We'll call mock clear on all spies. This will clear mock history, but not reset its implementation to the default one. What is that? What does that even mean? You know, clear all mocks. There it is. Let's see. No. Do you work by yourself? You don't work by yourself as well. No, wait a minute. This one. I'm not... There it is. Okay, so this one works by itself. This one won't. Even though we say clear all mocks. So this is not cool if you ask me. Like, this is very not cool. And I still think it's something to do with the DI stuff. You know, because when we go here and we register this, maybe this is where we should look into. Let's go to Universify and go to their terrible docs scope. The scope of the dependencies. Okay, let's see. Uses transient scope by default, but you can also use a singleton and a request scope. There are many available kinds of bindings in the singleton. When we use in request scope, we are using a special kind of singleton. In singleton scope creates a singleton that will last for the entire life cycle of a type binding. This means that the singleton in singleton scope can be cleared up from memory when we unbind a type binding using container unbind. But the request scope, let me hide my face there. This one, a singleton that will last for the entire life cycle of one call to the container.get tagged or named methods. Each call to one of these methods will resolve a root dependency and all its subdependencies. Internally, a dependency graph known as the resolution. Oh, okay. It does make sense. We are doing the request scope to the repository, but the use case is singleton. Maybe we should do two in request scope, right? Maybe we should do this so that every time we try to get the, resolve the use cases, it will, each call to one of these methods will resolve a root dependency and all of its subdependencies. Let's try that, Maybe that would be the solution. to put the request scope on the actual use case, because we're using the use case. And if that's cached, then there you go. Okay, let's see this. Of course not. Everything is broken. This will work, this will not work. Yeah. Okay, so we do clear. Go back. Let's do unmock nano ID before each. Okay, so when I run this, this should just work. No, it doesn't work. How it? I don't know. See? So check this out. Let me restart this again. Debug tests. So we're going to unmock first, right? We're going to execute this. And then we're going to invoke the nano ID and we still get the test fingerprint. So this doesn't really work the way that we expect it to, right? I am literally calling nano ID here and I'm still getting the, it doesn't, like DI makes no effect here. There's no dependency injection, there's no nothing. I want to unmock the nano ID mock and then give me the fingerprint and it still produces. So this is not, you know, not cool. That's what I'm gonna say. And what is mock history? It will clear the mock history, but not reset its implementation to the default one. No way, man. Mock part of a module. Okay. This is a spy function, but original. Oh yeah, this is a, yeah, mock this spied, but mod will keep the original. Plus, we also keep this mock reset and we set it to true, right? Nope. So unmock doesn't actually work. Reset. Resets modules registry by clearing the cache of all modules. This allows modules to be re-evaluated when re-imported. Top-level imports cannot be re-evaluated. Might be useful to isolate modules where local state conflicts. You know, we haven't tried it, so let's just try it. I hate this. Like, I hate these types of bugs. Test fingerprint. You see that? We literally just reset the modules, so that is not working. Reset all mocks. Let's see if resetting all of the mocks will work. There we are. Reset them. What's fingerprints? Test fingerprints. Again, this doesn't actually work. It's not resetting anything. Clearing, maybe. Maybe restore all mocks. Let's try to restore. all the mocks. Yeah, restore them. Nope, no restoring happens. Clear all mocks. Let's try clearing them. There we go, clear them. Test fingerprint is still test fingerprint. So I am out of ideas now. This is not supposed to happen. It's not supposed to happen. I'm not sure if this is Vitest or Jests. If we switch over to Jests, let's try that. Let's try to, switching to Jest, and let's see. Instead of Vitest, let's just see what Jest does. npm install djests. And I'm gonna uninstall Vitest and we'll see what happens. npm uninstall Vitest. There we go. I'm gonna go to Next.js again. Just config. Okay. I'm gonna keep the vtests. Just config.ts. This is good. Coverage. No need for these types of things. We'll keep this, at least the comment, but there we go. Okay. There's Jest, right? And instead of Vitest, I'm gonna bring in Jest. So what? Under the hood, Next.js. Okay, that's Next.js. Oh, we don't actually need anything, right? Describe and it, they're all okay. Yeah, so these do not. There's a TS just. Maybe we should be using TS justice. This turned out to be really complicated. I don't like it. Go ahead. Just config JS. Okay, so it's a JS now. Okay. Whatever you say. In that case, we don't need this one, right? We don't need anything from Next.js. I mean, we're not going to be testing Next.js anyways. This one, we don't care about that. Let's go back and see. I'm going to do an LSP restart just to... Yeah, see? Describe is Scribe is not found. Oh, there's a just. You can use type definition which ships with the jest and update each time you update jest. Install just global. Okay, let's do that then, I guess. And then we import these from just globals. Okay. Save dev just globals. So we need to get back and do at just slash globals, and there's not gonna be a v in this case, but it's going to be just, and we need to do just in this case. Either clear all mocks or jest.mock. It's the same API. Now we're using jest, right? Okay, let's try. What was that? Oh, missing script tests. So this should be just jest, I guess. So just globals is the thing. I don't think I need the DS jests. Okay. We got that out. I'm gonna delete the jests config, do just config TS. Damn, this is way too much. Don't care about this one as well. Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go. npm run test. Missing script. But I did add it. Maybe I didn't save it. Yeah. TS note. Okay, let's see TS note. So this is the module issue then. Well, bubble, yeah, but we're not using bubble, right? It's Next.js. So that's why Vitest wins, right? God. Undo. Undo. I don't like this. We're gonna keep Vitest. I don't need this and these two as well. Yeah. I'm gonna delete TS node, TS just, and also just globals. But I'm gonna bring in Vitest. There it is. Remove just, we already have the Vitest thing, go back and just import this from Vitests, and this is going to be V instead of just. And now we're back to square one where our tests don't work actually. They run, but they don't work. So mocking using Vitest causes us too much pain. I should not be calling vmock multiple times. That was the main mistake. Vitest statically analyzes your files to hoist vmock. It means that you cannot use v that is not imported directly from the Vitest package. Okay. v.mock. And then after each. In this case, give me a second. All right. I think we need to split it. You see how there's like a v.mock here, but there's no implementation, but then it does add the implementation here. Let's see. Right. So apparently this must be above. Vtests will hoist it. So we'll just say mock nano ID. See, v.mock is hoisted, in other words, moved to the top of the file. It means that whenever you write it, regardless if it's before each or tests, it will actually be called before that. Yeah. This also means that you cannot use any variables inside the factory that are defined outside the factory. If you need to use variables, try do mock. It works the same way, but it's not hoisted. Beware that this only mocks subsequent imports. Okay, let's get this back here. Let's do mock instead. And we'll see about clearing or restoring or resetting or whatever. I think we should just do. Let's see. Let's see. Maybe we don't even need. Because if this is not hoisted, then it's going to, it's going to end up being removed here. Okay, run this. Thank you. Run this. Wait, it doesn't. Now it's. Okay, this is wild. Mm-hmm. Okay, so this thing is a different thing. So this means that mocks, there's like a dunder mocks dunder directory at the root of the project where we can define our mocks as like in JS files, you know, so we can write Axios ourselves basically. And if you don't invoke v.mock Axios, it's not going to take in effect. But these are hoisted. Was not mocked because v.do.mock is evaluated after imports. And then we import it, and then it returns the mocked module. But this is importing it right here. Hmm. So basically, do.mock is not hoisted, but because it's not hoisted, that means when we actually use it inside of the create collection, it's not it doesn't work. Yeah, it's an actual fingerprint. It's not the mocked one. So mock does that for us. But with the mock method, we do not know how to clear it here. You know? Hmm. Works only for modules that were imported with the import keywords. At the beginning, let's try that. So if I run this, it should just work. No? How is this now? v.mock nano ID. So run this. See, now mocking doesn't work. All right, this is... What is even this? Sometimes it does work, sometimes it doesn't work. It should not mean it's mocked. Maybe unmock is also hoisted. Hmm? Yeah. I'm going to do this. Run this. It should, yeah. Is there a do unmock? There is a do unmock. Right? So why we can do this then? This is not getting hoisted, so this should still work. No, it should not still work. This should be here. What about this one? This one works. So do unmock has removes module from mock registry. All subsequent calls to import will return the original module. This is not hoisted. Path to the module can be aliased if your Vitest config supports it. So like do mock, if I put it here, it's not gonna work. Oh, it does work. Wait, how? No, it doesn't work, you see? I think there's like a state thingy here in Vitest. So the first time it didn't work. Now the second time it does work. And now it's just not gonna work. If I move it back here and do mock instead, it's not gonna run the first time. It does run the first. Okay, I have no idea. I have no idea what is going on. If I do unmock on this one, the unmock will get hoisted and it will get, so this will pass. There we go. But this won't work. Yeah. Okay, so unmock gets hoisted. Mock gets hoisted. Do unmock doesn't work. I think the do stuff will work if we import them out, like if we explicitly import. If we do import, nano ID, but we don't. So we need to play with this, basically. We need to play with like global mocking, but then we need to clear out, and I don't know why clear or reset or these things don't actually work. Yeah, we'll call restore on all spies. This will clear mock history. But this is like spies. We don't have like spies, right? We have v.mock, not v.spy. Spy on, see? Creates a spy. See, if factory is defined, and we did provide the factory, the second argument, all imports will return its results. Vitest calls factory only once and caches the results for all subsequent imports until v unmock or v do unmock is called. We did do unmock and it didn't actually work. This is hoisted and the factory is called before the import on line 1. So this one is hoisted here. Increment, it returns 100. If you increment 1, it's 100. If you increment 30, it's 100 because it's a static 100. This is not hoisted, so other imports will return unmocked module. If we do v do unmock increment JS, just like here, then this is still returns because do unmock doesn't reevaluate the module. The next import is unmocked. Yeah. Now increment is the original function that returns. And it does the await import. But we don't have access to this. This is like buried inside. So I guess we need to, yeah. Okay, this is a lot more complicated than I thought. But yeah, we can mock this and keep it mocked and everything is gonna be cool, but let me see what I did in the DI. Request scope. Yeah, this also didn't work, so I'm just gonna revert it back. Okay, yeah, so one thing is this. One thing is that we're, mocking the test fingerprint. For now, I'm just not going to. I'm just not going to. But that means we cannot create a test in which we try to create a collection with an existing fingerprint. Or maybe that should not be a use case test. That should be a repository test. But if we make a unit test on the mock repository, that's going to be a really dumb move because we're making sure that we're mocking properly, but not, it has nothing to do with the app. So yeah, how in this case, how do we test this? Maybe we should not. But it's good to see that mocking actually does that. Does hoist and stuff. In this case though, we have this, right? And it's going to return us a fingerprint. The next thing that we might want to test is, like getting the fingerprint, getting the collection by the fingerprint. But the other problem that we haven't solved yet is when we do get injection, give me the collections use cases, it is going to instantiate the mock repository here. Man, it's always going to, actually we didn't test that. Let me bring that back and let's see if that's still the case. I'll bring the in request scope again, just so every time we invoke get on the use case, it gets recreated. That does change. I mean, it's not gonna change. Yeah, I'm gonna copy this, put it here as well. For production, it's not going to be in the request scope, but that does change the behavior, doesn't it? Yeah. Okay. console.log mock collections repo init. That's the constructor. Now let's try this. It should return the collection with a valid. We should return the collection with a valid fingerprint, right? Let's quickly write one more test just so I can test this. And that's going to be it for today. What I really want to do here is get the injection, right? I'm going to grab the just a fingerprint. Wait. Collections. Use cases dot create collection. The title is going to be hello there, right? And then we're just going to obtain fingerprint. And then I want to say collection equals await collections use cases get collection based on the fingerprint that we have here, right? So now I expect the collection dot title to be hello there, because that's how we created it, right? So we're creating it, we want to get it, the title should be that. If I run this, it should just work. There we go. If I run this, it should just work. If I run all of them, they will work, but I want to see the output. Mock collections repo init happened just once, right? It happened just once. That means at this point, check this out. I'm going to go into infrastructure, mock repository. We don't need this one. When I say get collection, I'm going to put a breakpoint. And I'm going to I want to debug last. Actually, yeah, I can't debug this, but here's what we can do. I'm going to console log the collections length. It should have 2 elements, not 1. Okay? Yeah, collections length is 2. But it should be 1, right? We only call create collection just once. This one is also in there, so we still have that issue. When we, between each tests, we want the whole DI to just, restart, clear up. And I guess Inversify does have, I guess Inversify does have something like that. Container API. Yeah, we can do a bind, but there's also an unbind. You can skip this. You can use this to skip checking base classes, which is especially useful if any of your injectable classes extend classes. No, by default we have it set to maybe false. Custom metadata reader, apply middleware, bind, create child, get async, get named. Yeah, instead of all these gets, we should just say must resolve. But it allows users. It allows users to create an instance even if no binding has been declared. Ah, okay. Yeah, restore. Restore container to its last snapshot. No. Unbind maybe? Deactivation process. Unbind all. Maybe we should do that. Deactivation process. On deactivation, it will do that. Basically destroying. Yeah. So I guess after each test, we should do that. Right? We should get our application container. Or before each application container. That's how we export it. There we go. DI container. Unbind all, was it right? Unbind all. Yeah. Okay, so this should like unbind all of the modules and registrations and services and everything. And then we use get injection. When we use get injection, I guess it should initialize the container. Let's see, console.log. I'm gonna put it here. Now I'm gonna run all of the no matching bindings. Yeah, there we go. Interesting. So when we say get, basically when we pull in, when we do this import, the initialize container happens. Maybe we should like manually do this between each. Yeah, I guess our DI container should have these things. Should have, should be possible to manually initialize and, destroy. Let's do that. Okay. Initialize container, destroy container, right? So before each initialize, and then after each destroy container. So that when we run this one, the container will be set up from scratch, and then it's going to get destroyed. So, and then when we move to the next one, when we say create collection, we should see collections length being printed to 1, not 2 this time, because these dot collections should be just recreated. And it does make sense for the unit tests to control that aspect. So I'm going to run both tests and nothing works. Ambiguous match found for get servicing. Ambiguous match found. Okay. This is an inversify type of issue. Ambiguous match found for service identifier. Ambiguous service identifier. When you get the container, you're using the weapon identifier. That's not correct. I should do probably unload, right? Instead of unbind. Let me just do that. I thought of that, but I thought that unbind might actually work. Okay, initialize does the load, destroy does the unload. Okay, at least I know it's not that. So let's see when does it actually break. So initialize is going to happen once. But we should have like a check here. If these are not initialized, they should get initialized. Because if we say load twice, then it's not going to be good, right? Yeah. There is a check for that as well. And so complicated. Yeah, I guess that's what's happening. Because we already call initialize container here. You see? We already call that here. And then we bring in before each we'll do initialize container again. So that's like double initialization. Oh, there's like rebind. You can use the rebind method to replace all the existing bindings for giving service identifier. This function, the function returns an instance of the binding to syntax, which is allowed to create a replacement binding. There's bind, and then there's rebind, which allows you to rebind it. Yeah, so initialize does this, destroy does this. This will happen once, so that this should not happen for the first time. Like if the modules are loaded, that's not what we want to do. Right? If I don't invoke this automatically, I need to place it somewhere. Which could be the middleware, I guess. Which one day we will help set up my NeoVim. Oh yeah, I have issues with my NeoVim, especially when doing these tests now. It's crazy. All right, let's see this. You see that? Let me check the output. There we go. Collections length is set to 1. So this works. But for the app to work as well, because right now we're not actually initializing the container anywhere, we need to manually do that. And that should be in the middleware file in Next.js land. Where is it? Should it be there? Should it be there? Is the question. There's middleware, right? This is the middleware. If I build this app, it's just not going to work. Check this out. npm run build. It's gonna say what is, I cannot. Let's see. I don't want to jinx it, but let's see. Yeah, no matching bindings because we don't do loads. We don't load the modules, right? If I do it here, let's say imports from di container, initialize container, right? If I do it here, and build it again, it's still not going to build because the middleware does not get invoked during build time. There we go. If I bring it up here, is it going to work? It should work because the middleware file is considered when building, and it doesn't work. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like if we, well, check this out. Check this out. I'm just complicating things. I know the solution. Just go to the container. If process.env.node environment is not test, freaking initialize it automatically. So this will work exactly the same if I were to run npm run build, because it'll just work. Let's see. See? And it's also going to work in testing, because in testing, I'm not going to initialize it right away. I'm going to manually initialize it before each tests. So if I do run all tests, everything works. And if I do give me the output, we're going to see collections length 1. Why? Because we only create one collection and then we try to get it, right? We do create one more, but that's in these tests. And after this one, the container will be destroyed and will be reinitialized before the next one. So there we go. Actually, this will work. And with this in mind, I wish I could say mocking should also work, but it's not going to work. Mocking will not work in this case as well. All right, we solved it. Let me just check the let me just check the calendar and see what I have here. Yeah, I think this is going to be the stream for today. We made a lot of progress, right? We mocked the collections repository and we battled with Vitest a bit, but we finally got the gist. I think we still need to figure out how we can mock the in the middle. Wouldn't it initialize on every request? It will. If this is a long-running Node.js server, it's going to be a problem. But for serverless, you do need it. It doesn't need to initialize it on every request. We'll see though. We'll see. We're gonna test it in both environments. But yeah, this worked, right? We can write tests, we can mock our repositories, and we can make sure that our logic does indeed work, and with that we even throw errors when we're supposed to be throwing errors. I'm yet to read more about mocking the what was the name, nano id function, but let's do that in the next stream, which is going to be on Wednesday at the same time. We already know that's the same schedule. So yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to see you all on Wednesday at 10 a.m. EST at the exact same time. All right, take care. See you next time.